I sort of wanted to learn a speech of the Rebbe, but the Devar Malchuta we just learned took longer than I thought. So, but nevertheless, the topic that the Rebbe says is important. So I'll give it over in a very short way. The Rebbe says, this is a speech of the Rebbe. What year was it from? I don't know, one of the early years in the 50s. So the Rebbe said that the month of IYAR that we're in now is, in some ways, the holiest month of the whole year. Holiest month of the whole year. Why? What's so holy about it? Because every day is connected with the commandment of counting the Omer. The month of Nisan, only the last half is counting the Omer. The month of Sivan, just the first 5 days is counting the Omer. And an Iyar, every day is counting the Omer. And this idea of counting the Omer is a unique commandment from all the other commandments because it's not a commandment that's done on a certain time, in a certain time. The commandment is to count time itself. To count time itself. In other words, every day becomes a commandment. You're counting, today is 1 day, today is 2 days, today is 3 days. So the day itself is counted. The commandment is, you're not using to fill in something and making a commandment on something else. You're making a command, the blessing that you're making is the day. Time itself becomes a commandment. And you just make a blessing on the time. So if so, the days of IYAR, every day is a holy day. It's counted, it's a blessing. And that's the preparation between going out of Egypt and receiving the Torah. The Jewish people got out of Egypt. They were free. They were free from Egypt, but they didn't exactly know what they were free to. And receiving the Torah, they realized what their real purpose is. The Torah was the tool and the directions to make the whole world holy. Okay, but the days in between, 50 days between going out of Egypt, those are the days when we count the Omer, and especially that's stressed in the month of IYAR, where every day you're counting the Omer. And what is the big lesson to be learned from these days, all these days, is that every day is equal. Every day is equal and every day is holy. Even though there's some days in there which are Shabbos, and there's also Pesach Sheni, and there's the beginning of the month and the end of the month. But nevertheless, every day is equal. And every day is equally holy. And when we put that into our mind, that every day of our lives is equal in that every day is holy, even though that things are changing all the time. But one thing that means holy means that every day is equal in our responsibility to do what's right, to take the challenges of life and to not be brought down by life, but exactly the opposite, to be calm when everybody else is confused, and to be intelligent when everybody else is whatever, and to not go after your desires. That's turning from bad, but also doing good, like we said to Tanya, also doing good, to learn a little more Torah, to give a little more charity, to say more kind words to other people, to see good things in everything, and others, to see the godliness in everything. It makes you positive. Oh. Says the Rebbe, how can you do that? How can a person do that, really? I mean, they're really thinking about God all the time. Well, if you think once, it's a big deal, right? The thing, you're supposed to God all the time. What do you get? He says, well, the way you can do this is to understand that the first letters of IYAR is Avram, Aleph, Yud, Yitzchak, Yud, Yaakov, and Reish is Rivka or Rachel. Same thing. All those four have something in common, is that they were all vehicles for God. They were all vehicles for God. They're called Merkavat. All of those were vehicles for God. What do you mean vehicles for God? That they, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Rachel, Rivka, they felt every moment in their life that they're here for a purpose. They felt every moment in their life that even the most simple things that you do have tremendous importance if you do with the right intention. And you can make mistakes also, but if you got the right intention and you're genuinely doing and trying to do, say, think what God wants, is that therefore your attitude is not so much on the world. Like the Rebbe said, look at three things: at God, at yourself, and at the world. So you're here to fix up the world. You're an emissary of God every moment. That's what, and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Rachel and Leah, they are called our fathers. They give us power to do this. They're not just examples and people that they could do, and inspirations, which they are also. That's also true. But also inside of us, they give us power in our soul. They're part of our soul, that we have the ability to do what they did, namely that every moment of our life has to be equally devoted to good, to truth, to godliness, despite the challenges, despite the difficulties, despite the disappointments and the frustrations and the changes that there are in the world and the temptations. And nevertheless, we have power in our soul from IYAR, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel and Leah. Those are the fathers of Judaism. They are fathers of Judaism by virtue of their attitude toward the world. Because if you look in the Torah, you don't really see that they did that much. I mean, they didn't really establish a religion at all. They don't see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They didn't make any holidays or any rituals or any, commandments or these prayers or meditations or something. Well, what did they do? Why are they called the fathers? So the answer is because their attitude toward God and their attitude toward the world and their attitude toward life. And we have that implanted. That's Jewish identity. We've got that inside of us. And so that's this month of IYAR has the ability and gives us the power to constantly be devoted to good. Not like they say there's a joke in America, honesty is the best policy sometimes, right? Not to say sometimes, all the time, honesty is the best policy. All the courage is the best policy, always, right? Always. Kindness is the best policy all the time. Sometimes kindness demands that you have to be firm, and that's the speech of the Rebbe that the Rebbe gave. Okay, and now we will learn the Yom Yom.